In this week's Jaunts with John T, we officially kick off my bucket list quest to visit and rate every Major League ballpark in the country, and one in Canada. Nat and I will be starting with the Western Division by traveling to Denver, Colorado to visit Coors Field, as well as Seattle, Washington to visit T-Mobile Park. Howdy, 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 and welcome to Jaunts with John T. I am John T, and this week we are beginning my bucket list quest to visit every Major League stadium in the United States and one in Canada. Now we're starting off this quest here in the Western Division at the Coors Field, home of the Colorado Rockies. We are here on April 26th, 2025, which is the 30th anniversary of Coors Field. We didn't plan it that way, just the way that it happened. Just so happens the day that we got tickets for was the 30th anniversary of Coors Field. Not only am I going to be visiting every stadium, I'm also going to be ranking every stadium. I'm going to be ranking them in 6 categories: location, historical significance, overall aesthetics, both exterior and interior, merchandise as well as food, the game viewing experience, and the overall vibe. So let's play ball, and you can join me on this jaunt. So before we go into Coors Field here behind us, one of my big motivations for doing this quest of going to every ballpark in the country and one in Canada is Nat, because Nat gave me for Father's Day.
I think so.
Yeah, it was about 10 years ago, I think. It's been a while.
Yeah.
This poster, this really cool poster that has all of the Major League ballparks on it, and it's got that kind of scratch-off material. And as you visit the ballpark, you scratch the ballpark off that you visited. So my goal is to scratch all of those bad boys off. So it's all Nat's fault that I'm doing this.
Sorry.
The Colorado Rockies started in the MLB in 1993 as part of an MLB expansion that included the Florida, now Miami, Marlins. They played their first 2 seasons in the multi-purpose Mile High Stadium, which they shared with the Denver Broncos. Planning and construction started pretty much immediately for the new stadium, and the Rockies moved to Coors Field for the 1995 season. The park was constructed as a baseball venue, although, like most baseball stadiums, it has hosted several concerts and even some outdoor hockey games. Now, most of the seats here at Coors Field are green, but there's one row of seats that are purple. And the reason that they're purple is because this marks the spot where you are a mile high in elevation. So that's what these purple seats mean, which is pretty cool. Now, in addition to ranking each stadium, I'm going to have like sort of goals for each game, things I'm going to try to get accomplished for each game. The first is easy. I'm going to eat a hot dog in every stadium. That's easy. I think I can get that done. And another goal I will have, which should also be fairly easy, is to get a souvenir t-shirt. But preferably, I hope to be able to get a souvenir t-shirt that represents the stadium instead of the team. If I can't find that, then my second preference would be a very simple team t-shirt with just the team logo on it, and that's it. And if I can't find that, then just whatever's the coolest t-shirt I can find. So here's a t-shirt for Coors Field, which is what I want. Not crazy about the design, but I definitely want one with the field. That is really cool. I like it actually better. Is that like extra large, or is
Yeah, that one just looks really big, yeah.
It looks huge. I kind of like that t-shirt better, even though I always say I like to get one that has the name of the field on it, but the one with the field, with Coors Field on it, I don't really like that much. All right, this is what I'm getting. It's Coors Field. Coors Field logo, plus it says 30 years. So yeah, I think that's what I'm getting. I like that design a lot better too. So I think we have a winner. So what did you get? It's a Beyond Burger. Looks delicious. Beyond delicious. So Nat, how was your Beyond Burger?
It was beyond delicious.
Beyond.
I ate it in like 40 seconds. So.
So this is a super dog. The hot dog looks pretty good. The bun was a little cold when I first got it, and they had no relish. It's like, what's up with that? Good hot dog. Not great. I've had better, but not bad. Like I said, the bun is actually a little cool, which is not ideal. But it's a hot dog. It's not bad. It would be better if it had relish, that's for sure. All right, let's go ahead and give Coors Field a rating. Now, first comes location. Personally, I think that Major League Ballpark should be in urban settings. And Coors Field definitely is in an urban setting. Now, the downside to that is that parking is kind of a hassle there. There's not a lot of parking to be found. Still, it's not far from a freeway and several other major roads, and it's also pretty close to some light rail transit stations. That said, there really doesn't appear to be a lot to do in the surrounding area either before or after the game. A few bars and restaurants, but it's not exactly bustling. So I'm going to give it a 7. In terms of historical significance, Coors Field is actually quite historically significant. It was the first purpose-built baseball stadium since they built Dodger Stadium in 1962. Also, it replaced the multi-purpose Mile High Stadium, helping to signal the beginning of the end of the multi-purpose stadium. So I'm going to give it an 8.5. In terms of aesthetics, I'm going to rate both the exterior as well as the interior, and then I'm going to give 5 points to each for a possible total of 10. The exterior of Coors Field is fantastic. It's a beautiful facade, very impressive, and so for the exterior, I'm going to give it a 4. Now the interior is a different story. The passageways are often sometimes a little bit narrow. The ceilings were even low in a few places, at least by baseball stadium standards. And so it gets a little bit crowded and even a little dark sometimes. Plus, there isn't really anything in the interior that makes it kind of stand out. So for the interior, I'm going to give it a 2. That gives it a total of 6 for aesthetics. In terms of food options, there were almost too many food options. There was a very nice variety and even some vegan options. Now for the hot dog, frankly, it looked better than it tasted. It was okay, but it wasn't great. So overall, I'm going to give it 3.5 for food. In terms of merchandise, the team store was absolutely huge. They had a fantastic variety of products, branded products, including some that were branded with the name of the stadium, like this t-shirt that I have on right now. So for merchandise, I'm going to give them a 4 for a total of 7.5. The game viewing experience was great in terms of views of both the field as well as the Jumbotron. Even the views from the upper levels were really good, and sometimes it almost felt like the views from the upper levels were better than they were from the lower levels. My only complaint was that they didn't go the extra mile to engage the audience with things like pyro or roaming cameramen. Still, I'm going to give them an 8. Now for overall vibe, look, I understand that the vibe of a game can change from one game to the next. But that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to go to games that aren't like any special rivalries or anything like that. These are just regular old mid-season games that I'm trying to go to. Still, the vibe was pretty flat. The crowd didn't really seem all that engaged. We actually felt kind of bad for the Jumbotron operators because they were flashing up things like make some noise and that sort of thing. And the crowd, frankly, kind of responded with more or less a yawn. Look, I get it. The Rockies lost. But still, the score was pretty close throughout the entire game, and yet the crowd didn't seem to be all that engaged. So for vibe, I'm going to give them a 3. That gives Coors Field a total score of 40, which magically puts them both in first and last place in the standings. Of course, that should change soon. Or will it? Let's find out. Before we move on to T-Mobile Park, I am starting this bucket list quest with all 10 stadiums in the MLB West. My hope is to finish off all 10 MLB West stadiums this season, and you can help. If you're enjoying this video and you'd like to see me finish off the MLB West this season, then you can you can send this to a friend who you think might enjoy it, you can leave a comment, but most importantly, the best thing you can do is to subscribe. If enough people subscribe to the videos that I have currently planned for this season, then that will give me some extra motivation to go ahead and finish off all of the MLB West this year. The Seattle Mariners were formed in 1977 after the Seattle Pilots were moved to Milwaukee to become the Brewers, and the city of Seattle sued Major League Baseball for breach of contract. The Mariners originally played in the Kingdome, which was a cookie-cutter concrete donut multi-purpose venue. By the 1990s, the Kingdome had begun to deteriorate. T-Mobile Park, which was then called Safeco Field, opened after the All-Star break in 1999, with the first game being played there on July 15th. The initial naming rights were sold to Safeco Insurance, and the name was changed to T-Mobile Park in 2019 after the initial naming rights expired. So here's an interesting thing about T-Mobile Park, and I went to their website to confirm this, and I don't want to do anything in these videos that break any of their rules, but unlike other stadiums, they don't allow video in the park at all. I mean, they don't allow any kind of video. Most stadiums, they don't want you to take video of, the game action, which makes sense because, they obviously make a lot of their money off of producing and distributing and providing different outlets with the video of the game. So they don't want you to be taking video of the game. Stills are okay, and that's why in my videos what you'll see is that when I show stuff for the game, I'm only going to be showing stills. But in terms of the interior of the stadium, I'll take video to show the different parts of the stadium and all that. But not in T-Mobile, because T-Mobile Stadium does not allow video at all. So inside T-Mobile Stadium, everything that you're going to see is all going to be stills with no video. Exterior video, yes, but interior is all going to be stills. I was not hopeful when I ordered a hot dog and it was delivered wrapped in foil, but it was surprisingly good. The bun was soft and warm, and the dog had a good snap and a nice flavor. The starting pitcher for the Mariners was Logan Evans in his Major League debut. He registered his first out with his first pitch and gave up a solo home run later in the first, but settled in for his first Major League win, which was pretty cool. Okay, let's give T-Mobile Park a rating. Again, T-Mobile Park is in an urban setting, which I personally think is good, but that does present problems for parking. There is a very large parking structure next to Lumen Field, which is adjacent to T-Mobile Park, but you should bear in mind that if there's something going on at Lumen Field at the same time, then parking there could be an issue. Seattle's main train station is about a mile away, but there doesn't seem to be any light rail nearby. There are a few other things to do in the area, some restaurants and bars and stuff, and there was even a street fair going on the day that we were there after the game, but there doesn't seem to be a whole lot going on, so I'm going to give it a 7.5. In terms of historical significance, really not a lot of historical significance. It was a purpose-built new baseball stadium that was built to replace a multi-purpose stadium, but it wasn't the first to do that, and it also wasn't the last. So for historical significance, I'm going to give it a 6. For aesthetics, it's pretty much the opposite of Coors Field. The exterior is fine, but it's nothing really great, but the interior is awesome. The interior is very open and airy, and I particularly like the way that the structural elements seem to be kind of incorporated into the design, especially with the huge retractable roof. So I'm going to give it a 2.5 for the exterior aesthetics and a 4.5 for the interior aesthetics, giving it a total of 7. The food offerings were pretty good. There was a pretty good selection. Not a lot of vegan offerings, we noticed. And there was even this like walk-in, walk-out store where you basically scan your credit card as you walk in and then you get whatever you want and then you leave and it just automatically charges you for it. Also, the hot dog was surprisingly good. So I'm going to give them a 3.5 for food. The team store was very good. It was nice and large, and it was located downstairs, which is kind of odd. There was a pretty good selection, even though no venue branded items, which I always like to see. I guess they don't expect anybody to want to walk around wearing a T-Mobile Park t-shirt. There were lots of items with the Marlins S logo with a compass in it, and also a lot of items with the trident. Also, we saw there were lots of the little plastic tridents all over the place, a trident sippy cup and things like that, which frankly looked a little dangerous. But at any rate, I'm going to give them a 3 for merchandise for a total of 6.5 for food and merchandise. The game viewing experience was pretty good. I've seen better, but it is a relatively new stadium, so overall the game viewing experience was pretty good. There were these upper deck standing only kind of patio areas that overlooked the field, which was kind of cool. And also they incorporated pyrotechnics and things like home runs and stuff like that, which was a nice touch. So I'm going to give them a 7.5. Finally, in terms of overall vibe, I should say that to me, a 10 is like the 7th game in the World Series at Yankee Stadium. So it's a pretty high bar. Still, let me tell you, the joint was rocking. People were really, really into this game. They were cheering on the team and rocking out, and the vibe was really, really up there. So for overall vibe, I'm going to give them an 8.5. That gives T-Mobile Park an overall score of 43 and puts them now in first place in the standings. Well, that is going to do it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. We certainly enjoyed going to Coors Field as well as T-Mobile Park. And if you did enjoy it, please be sure to give us a like. That really does help us out. Now, here at Jaunts with John T, we go on jaunts around the world, around the country, around the state, around the city, or sometimes just around the house. And if that sounds like something that you'd enjoy, then please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, and especially subscribe if you want to see me do all of the Major League parks in the Western Division this season, because that really will help to convince me that would be a good thing to do. So be sure to do that. Well, that's going to do it for now. I am John T, and until I can figure out a better sign off, thanks for watching.